Unfortunately, there are a lot of bad holsters out there. Also unfortunate is that the number of bad holster makers outnumber the good ones. That being said, I'm here to talk about one of the great holster makers, JM Custom Kydex. I've been buying from them since 2019, and I currently have 11 of their holsters here at my workshop. They've become my favorite holster maker, and it's not rocket science how they did that. Now, as a disclaimer, this is entirely based on my own experience with the holsters. There are no outside influences, and I'm not getting paid to say anything nice about JM Custom Kydex. I have paid out of my own pocket for all the holsters I'm about to show, and I prefer it to be that way. Now, how about a little bit of background on JM Custom Kydex? They opened up their doors in 2011, and they're helmed by the husband and wife crew of Tony and Trisha Meyer. They are currently located in Texas, but they used to be based out of Nevada. One of the things I really dig is that the designs for JM's holsters done by Tony are all original to JM Custom Kydex. They are not some sort of copy and pasted or borrowed design. These are original designs that are really, really, really well made. Now, part of that is that the design and the quality is pretty good, but their customer service is also pretty good too. As a customer, which is what they know me as, they don't know me as Paul the writer or Paul the media guy, it's Paul the guy who gives us money for holsters. I've had nothing but great experiences with JM Custom Kydex. They list accurate lead times on their websites when you're placing orders. If you're going for one of their quick ship things, a lot of their quick ship holsters are like a week to 2 weeks to get out. A lot of the custom stuff is like a month and a half to 2 months to get out. And they update that as time goes on. So you know that you're not going to be thinking, oh, is the lead time incorrect when I place an order? I also like that if you ever have to contact them, you're going to be speaking to a person and not an AI chatbot. Whether it's shooting Tony a DM on Instagram via their JM Custom Kydex account, or shooting them an email or placing a phone call, you'll be speaking to a person. I can't say this enough, but I really, really do appreciate that they do that. I am so tired of AI chatbots and whatnot when I'm trying to place orders for stuff. Now, customer service is good. It's good to have good customer service and an accurate representation of lead times, but none of that matters if the holsters are not really well made. Thankfully, Tony and crew know how to make a good holster. Now, I've only spent time with their appendix holsters, so I can't speak to the strong side carry holsters, but I have a lot of time with these because I'm carrying a firearm all day, every day. Now, the big thing is that you need to have a comfortable holster if you're doing that. Again, JM knows how to make a durable and comfortable holster, and it's all tied to this great design and really, really good construction. As a generality, JM's holsters have adjustable retention, adjustable cant, and are tailored to aid in concealment. They do this while maintaining comfort, and as we know, an uncomfortable holster tends to get left behind, so making a comfortable holster is a must. I like that these holsters are not ambidextrous holsters. And what I mean by that is that they don't have holes for their hardware on both sides of the holster. This is something you'll see from a lot of other companies, and I won't name any in particular right now, but they'll duplicate the hardware mounting on both sides. That generally leads to a much thicker holster, and a thicker holster means a less comfortable holster. If I'm buying a holster, I want it to be a dedicated holster for the orientation that I'm planning on carrying the gun. As a right-handed shooter, if I'm buying a holster primarily for right-handed use, I want it to be a right-handed holster. Now, one of the big things when it comes to discussing holsters is that they are very much inherently preference-based. So what I'm showing you here is what my personal preference is when looking at holsters. Down in the description, I'll drop a list for my setups, or basically how I have my holsters configured. They might fit you pretty well, but I can't guarantee that they will. What you're seeing here is a culmination of what my preferences are. If you prefer plastic clips over metal, they offer that with JM. If you prefer loops over clips, they have that too. But what you're about to see is what I really dig when it comes to holsters. In front of me here, I have 3 of JM's appendix holsters. We have the small AIWB, the mid-size AIWB 2.5 wing claw, and then the larger 2.0 wing claw. They all work on the same principle, but they do it in different ways. Essentially, it's about getting the right holster for the right size of gun that you've got. Getting to the holsters themselves, though, I'm going to start with the smaller AIWB. This is a holster design that I have used quite a bit over the last 2 years, and it's really tailored for smaller guns. I have it here with my Glock 42, which was actually the gun I was carrying earlier today, but I also have copies of the holster here for the Ruger LCP Max and for the Bodyguard 2.0. What I really dig is that the AIWB is a fairly simple design, and I have the DCC Monoblock on the ones I've got here. They also have a built-in claw as part of the holster design. What this means here is that as your belt runs underneath the clip, we have this raised portion here. That's going to help to tuck the gun closer inboard towards your body. And I really, really do dig that because concealment is paramount. Another nice element, and I'll keep using the LCP Max here as the example, you can see that the holster is longer than it needs to be, about an extra inch of holster here. And the rationale for that is that as you're carrying the gun, the extra length actually acts as like a lever and helps to pivot the butt end of your gun in towards your gut or inboard towards your body. It aids in concealment, and I find it to be super comfortable. My editor, Dan, he has a whole article on holster length, and I'll drop that down below. Excuse me. Generally speaking, longer than necessary holsters are really great for small guns, aside from a couple of exceptions. You're probably thinking, well, what are those exceptions? The exceptions are revolvers. Because revolvers have a balancing point closer to the cylinder, you don't usually need a longer length holster to accommodate the weight of a revolver because it's all lower in there. Speaking of the holsters, though, I have an AIWB for the J-frame with a 2-inch barrel. I also have the AIWB for a J-frame with a 3-inch barrel. I got a Model 60 here, which is kind of a unique gun for me here, but we'll get to that later on. I have the AIWB for the 4-inch K-frame here. And then kind of the most ridiculous holster I've got here, I have it for my 686, so an L frame. Now obviously this DCC clip is probably a little overstressed with this much gun here, but I wanted to get a holster for this 686 here because I do enjoy shooting it and shooting it from the holster. And this works pretty well. Now obviously if I had beefier clips or more, it would probably be better, but the rationale for the holster still works because you really don't need a separate claw for a revolver, and I just really dig how it works. Now, obviously, this gun's a little ridiculous. The 4-inch K-frame holster is one that I have worn a whole lot more, not just because the K-frame is a lighter gun and still holds the same number of rounds, but it's just an easier gun to carry with this package. But generally speaking, I really do dig the AIWB when it comes to the smaller guns. And this is something that, you know, between the 2-inch J-frame and the Glock 42, these two have gotten a ton of wear from me. And even to the point I was looking at it before I started filming, I've been accumulating some rust inside of my screws here. So this holster needs a little bit of TLC right now. But the AIWB is great as a small option when looking at the JM holsters. Now, there are other holsters from them, as I've shown before, and I want to talk about the AIWB 2.5. We're skipping over the 2.0 because the 2.0 is a little bit bigger, but I have two guns here for the 2.5. Now, what's the big difference between the standard AIWB and the 2.5 wing claw? Well, the big thing is having a separate claw mounted onto the holster itself. This is the same principle as the molded on piece as part of the holster, but it's a separate piece that gives a little bit more tension to help keep the gun canted inboard. With the Glock 48, I have the standard length holster. For the Shield 1.0 that I've got here, I have a little bit longer than necessary holster. I find that once I get to about a 4-inch barrel on an autoloader, I don't need extra length, but for the shorter gun like the Shield that's like a 3.5-inch barrel, I wanted to have the extra length. These are super comfortable. Obviously, they're a little bit bigger, but I find that they're very comfortable. The claw helps with concealment, and I've had no problems wearing this holster day in and day out. I actually usually carry this gun as my cardio gun, so if I'm going for a jog or going to hop on the bike at the gym, I'll have this one on me. It's a little bit harder to carry a large gun at the gym, and generally speaking, when I'm doing a lot of my weightlifting, I tend to have an even smaller gun because if I'm in weird positions, I don't want to have to worry about printing being a possibility. But the 2.5 wing claw is one that I've carried a ton, especially in the Glock 48. A little bit less in the Shield. This is not a gun that I carry a ton, but I wanted to pick one up because this is a little soapboxy. I think the Shield 1.0 is still a really, really good pistol. I say 1.0, the single stack shields. I think they're still really good pistols, and I wanted to reacquire one of these as part of the library, I guess you could say, of guns, because this is a gun that I think people still sleep on. And to all the people who say I don't like Smith & Wesson, I have a lot of their guns. Now, for the last jam holster I'm going to talk about, I want to talk about the 2.0. Now, the AIWB 2.0 is, again, scaling up from the other designs. And I'm going to get the two that I've got here. It's effectively taking that 2.5, but now we have a split clip system, and we still have the separate wing claw piece. Again, I like this because it helps to carry the gun very comfortably. Specifically, the 2.0 is great if you have a heavier gun. I would say that the 2.5 is great for something that's like Glock 19 size or smaller. Once I get up to a Glock 17, or in this case, a comped Glock 45, I like having a little bit more holster to accommodate the extra weight of the gun. Especially when carrying like a steel 1911, really, really nice to be able to distribute that weight across the belt instead of having it on a single clip. And one thing that I really dig with these is that adjustable retention, especially for the 1911 holster. I have multiple 1911s, and they're not all 5-inch government model size guns. Being able to have that adjustable retention is great when I'm going to a commander gun in this holster, or something with maybe an aluminum frame where I require more or less force to get the gun out. So it's a simple thing, but a lot of companies don't do adjustable retention on their holsters. Now let's kind of do a pile here and get everything out, because I have a lot of these. I said I have 11, and by goodness, I'm going to show you all 11 holsters. We're going to stack here. Get them all up here. Whoop. And number 11. Is it going to stay? Stay. This is something I wanted to show, and you're probably thinking, well, Paul, it looks like you're bragging or something. No, this is a pile of effort, right? Tony and the crew over at JM Custom Kydex know how to make a quality holster. I wouldn't keep buying from them if I didn't think that they were making great holsters. There's a reason why I say that they're my favorite holsters on the market, because they're really durable, they're really, really comfortable, and they make them for a wide range of guns. For the most part, if you've got an autoloading pistol or most revolvers, you can get a holster from JM Custom Kydex. I keep giving them my money because I really, really like the holsters. So let's get a couple of these guns out of here and finish up our little video. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate you for watching. Did any of these holsters catch your eye? If so, let me know in the comments down below. Also, what qualities do you tend to like to see in a holster? Do you need to have some sort of claw or wedge built into the holster? Do you prefer it to be external or something molded in there? Do you have a preference in length of holster or size of holster? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you made it this far, we have a special phrase for today. And that special phrase for today is ring hammer. Ring hammer is our phrase for today. Thank you so much for watching, and take care, folks.